Hey, sports and drafts fans, we are back, just like the guy says in Independence Day. Crazy old man. Anyway, we're back from our 1 week off. Hope you didn't miss us too much. But you probably can't see us tonight, but he's Dave and I'm Chuck, and we are kind of twinsies.
That
Representing.
wasn't planned, by the way.
No, it was not planned. But today, celebrating Marine Corps' birthday, we've got Veterans Day. And so just a shout out to everyone who has served our nation faithfully and worked hard to keep us, protect us and keep us safe. So thank you to everyone that has served, and hope you enjoy the show. And so we got about 5 weeks of football to catch up on since we weren't here last week. And but we won't actually bore you with all of that. Dave mentioned that since our show, the Braves won the World Series. I thought they won it after our show or before our show, but he shared those. So congratulations to the Atlanta Braves for knocking off the Houston. I was going to say the Houston Texans. Might as well. They can't win anything either.
Yeah.
But Houston
Not as well liked right now in Houston, probably.
Right. So anyway, congratulations to the Braves. We got a lot to cover, even with the NFL this week. And but before we do, it wouldn't be sports and drafts without the drafts. And so I'll go ahead. I have to actually read this because it's got I think it's got a long name. So I went back to my local brewery down the street, Throne Brewing, and picked up a growler today and almost got the stout. And I realized that I got their stout last year and did it on the show, the Warhammer Nitro Stout. So I was really wanting to get back into the stouts, but this is a 2-year anniversary. So Throne Brewing's only been around a couple of years, but this is their 2-year anniversary New England style hazy IPA. It's a hazy double IPA brewed with, I don't even know what these are, Centennial, Lotus, and Mosaic hops. So a lot of hoppiness going on here. I'm not a huge IPA guy, but I like the hazies just because they're just kind of an unfiltered dirty beer, and it's quite tasty, actually. It's actually quite refreshing. It only will be the one glass, and they serve it in the smaller ones because it's at a 9.2. So yeah, you just sip on one. So I'll work on this over the hour, and I'll be good to go.
Yeah, what's a heavy hitter, man?
Yeah, what you got on tap?
I'm going back to a brewery that I like here in California. So it's in Torrance, California, Smog City Brewing. So I picked up this 7% saber-toothed squirrel. I just had to. I mean, I saw this bottle and I couldn't not grab it. And it's a American Amber Ale. So here's the color on it. Nice dark color.
Ooh, that's nice.
It kind of feels weird. I know we were talking last show. We're going to move more into the porters and the browns because it's fall, winter coming, things like that. Not like it really is. You live in Arizona. It was like 80 here today. It's going to be 90 for the next 4 days. So I'm not really picking up that fall vibe yet, other than the leaves I have to rake in my front yard. But I thought I'd still go for it. I enjoyed Amber. This is a pretty good one. I've had a few sips off of it so far. So I'm liking this Smog City and what they put out. I've featured them a few times so far during our shows. So
hey, Kim, thanks for joining the show tonight. Good to always see you back. Hopefully you didn't cry too hard last week when we were gone. And then Jim, Cindy, thanks for joining the show, and look forward to you guys being a part of the conversation. We do have a special guest on the show tonight. This is actually our first in 2 years or whatever. This is the first on-camera guest we've had on the show, I believe. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you can just put a big, put your hands together, big round of applause for Jim. And, thanks for joining the show. We're going to be looking
here, Chuck.
Thank you. We're honored to have you.
He was kind of forced into it. he is a big sports fan. I mean, he was at the Washington Husky Oregon Ducks game last weekend in the rain, watching his alumni, his alma mater take the field, as he has several times. Won't be the first, won't be the last time that he has a bunch of rain dumped on him, I'm sure, watching
Oh,
the game.
that was a heavy rain too. So Jim and Cindy say hi. And
hi, Jim and Cindy. I know you're listening.
And so welcome to the show. And as you can see, I made a comment about you might not be able to see us, but Dave and I are repping his wonderful Play It Through camo shirts. And so, just proud to do that as well. And obviously, we are going to have the Play It Through Person of the Week coming up in just a little while. So let's talk a little bit. We're not going to talk about our games from 2 weeks ago, that we liked and the players and stuff. But we do have our games of the week. What was your game of the week for week 9?
My game of the week was the last game of the week. So the Monday night game, just because, this is an entertainment thing, this professional sports, it's an entertainment driven business. And I thought you got basically everything you could want out of this game, entertainment wise. You had, a veteran quarterback who's won Super Bowls in Ben Roethlisberger, the old school, Steeler team going against the Bears, another classic franchise that has a young quarterback trying to find his way. And the veterans were kind of beaten up, on the Bears early, and then Fields came back, and the Bears did well to come back in that game, actually took the lead late. Then, of course, there was the referee controversies with the calls at the end of the game, and, that was a big thing. So just a lot of things went on that were entertaining in that game. Whether you were rooting for either team, there was just so much dynamic to that game, and it was a close game, and it wound up being a 2-point win, for the Steelers in the end. But great overall game just to watch and enjoy, whether you're a fan of either team or not.
Yeah, I went a little bit different. I went with trying to get what I threw off here. I can't remember which one I clicked. There it is. So my game of the week was actually the Broncos beating the Cowboys, and that if they played every week, that would be my game of the week every week. So no, the Broncos just worked the Cowboys. Cowboys couldn't move the ball, and that was uncharacteristic of the Cowboys for sure. But that was fun. Had a lot of work to do around the house this weekend. Didn't get to watch all the football that I wanted, but I had it on kind of nonstop just while I was working. And but I did watch quite a bit of that game until they said, "Hey, let's go to a more competitive game," because this one's out of hand. So, but yeah, that was the game of the week. Broncos, with getting rid of Von Miller, you thought, are they gonna take a step back on their defense? And but they didn't. They absolutely stepped up, and the rookie stepped up. So yeah, I mean, I guess with that, I'll just go ahead and I'm going to jump into my defensive player of the week, and then is actually Jonathan Cooper, the rookie outside linebacker for the Denver Broncos, and he had 3 tackles and assists, but he also had 2 sacks on Dak Prescott. So fans, good for the fans in Denver, where they're probably now saying Von who, because this kid really stepped up and made his presence known. And he's just a rookie out of Ohio State. So no, good on him, and that's my defensive player of the week.
I didn't have a defensive player of the week, but I had a defensive core of the week, and for me, that was the Tennessee Titans defensive line. I watched that game, and I kept saying every time the Rams had the ball, Stafford throws the ball really well, and they have a really good offense, but he got pressured a lot. I mean, he was definitely not comfortable in the pocket for a lot of the game, and I just noticed several different guys on that defensive line of Tennessee really rushing him a lot of plays. I mean, it seemed like he was under duress a lot, not comfortable a lot. And so for that reason, and Tennessee ended up with what I thought was kind of with Derrick Henry not being there anymore, super fun as just a football fan to see Adrian Peterson
yeah.
get as many touches as he did his first game back. I didn't think he touched the ball that much, and he got a touchdown.
At the end there.
Yeah, so I mean, that was fun to watch. That was almost my game of the week just for that, just to see him back on the field, getting the ball so many times, first time back, midway through the season. So that was really interesting to me. But I just thought that Tennessee defensive line gave Stafford a lot of problems and really rushed him a lot. So they were my pick.
Yeah, no, they played great, and I love seeing Adrian Peterson back. I had literally almost my entire fantasy team was either out on bye or injured, so I picked up Adrian Peterson and had him in my starting lineup this week, and because there was like literally no one left, so I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna pick this guy up, and so that touchdown helped me. I didn't win. I lost to Dylan this week, and so I dropped from second to third. But yeah, so no, that was fun to watch, and hopefully, obviously his touches will probably increase each week. But they still have a decent running back core. I thought the other backs behind him were, they gave him the start, but I don't know who the other kid is, but he ran hard. So who was your offensive player of the week?
Offensive player of the week was James Conner. He had 3 touchdowns for the Cardinals against my dismal 49ers. He had 2 rushing, 1 receiving. The receiving one was pretty big. That was a big time play. And so, 3 touchdowns. He had more touchdowns in the game than anyone else this week and really stepped up, and he's having a really good year. Yep. I think the Steelers gave up on him too quick. He was a high pick. He was a great back in college. They picked him high. He was injured a little bit, missed some games, and they ditched him. And I think that's going to be a real bad decision for them because he looks like quite a player this year.
Well,
yeah, they do have Najee, which he's a stud too.
But if you got 2 like that, just like the Cardinals have Edmonds and Connor, and Connor is that kind of that red zone running back, but he gets 1 more touchdown this season. And he ties his career season high of 12 touchdowns this season. He now leads the NFL in touchdowns scored. So he had a fantastic day. I saw they at least at the end started spreading the wealth to their 3rd running back. But yeah, that was a game that early on I thought, all right, San Francisco has really come to play. And but then by the end of it, they had some penalties obviously and some interceptions, but I got to ask you before we move on, though, is Jimmy Garoppolo really the guy you want to stick with?
I don't think our coach is the guy we're going to stick with.
Okay.
That will come to our next segment that we do of the hot seat.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, why don't I need my offensive player. So, actually, you know what? I was close on 2. One of them I've already had. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give it to this guy because, again, you're really not going to hear his name a lot week in, week out just because of the way where the team is really at right now. But I chose Matt Ryan, 343 yards thrown and beat the Saints, and but he had a 135.8 or 135.8, QB rating. And he was right there. Justin Herbert was just a little bit better on the yards, but and a slightly lower QB rating. And but I've already had Justin, so I thought I'd give Matt Ryan a little bit of love because he's kind of the last of those OGs that are probably gonna be done at the end of the year. And but he had a phenomenal game, and to beat the Saints. So the Saints still have a decent team in defense and even though they were missing some of their starters. But yeah, and so Matt Ryan. So finally leads us into, and if anyone that's watching, if you've had a game of the week or an offensive player of the week, throw it in the comments. We'd love to see it. Share your thoughts. So your coaching hot seat, probably not going to be a surprise then. So I'll just let you go with that one.
Yeah, I think Shanahan's got to be on it. I mean, we're 1-8 in our last 9 home games. And you can't do that when you're selling for tickets as much as tickets go in the NFL now. You can't lose at home that much when you're basically praised, through the media and around the league as a really good coach. And if he doesn't get us to that Super Bowl randomly a few years ago, I think maybe he's gone already. I know he had a 5-year contract, but that's the only good season he's really had. And I know we've had injuries, but every team has injuries. And you still have to coach up all the players that are backing up your starters. And it doesn't seem like that's happening. We continue to lose games. It was a skeleton crew of players for the Cardinals this last week. We were at home. And they got destroyed. I mean, it wasn't even really that close of a game. I didn't think. I watched the game after it was over on my NFL Game Pass to see what happened and why it was we lost by so much. And yeah, I don't see his strategies working. The team's not getting any better. It hasn't been getting any better the last couple of years. I don't know if him and John Lynch as the GM will be a package deal because they're a package deal coming in, both getting 5-year contracts, same exact time. I think Lynch has done pretty well of getting pretty decent players in there.
Yeah.
But they're just not performing right now with the schemes and everything that's going on. And yeah, I don't know if Jimmy's the guy. He plays good one week and then doesn't another. And, Trey Lance, we don't know what we have with him, but I almost feel like this is going to be a rebuild thing pretty soon, and Shanahan's going to be gone, and Garoppolo's going to be gone, and some new coach is going to get a fancy, shiny Trey Lance to work with. And he's got some good receivers. I mean, Ayuk made some really good catches and plays he hadn't made earlier in the season in this game. Deebo Samuel's on pace to be the only receiver in 49er history to have over 1,500 yards receiving. Only Jerry Rice has done that before with the 49ers. So they have playmakers. They have George Kittle's back. He had some big plays. They have guys there. They're just not winning. If you're not winning and you have good players, then that means the coach has to go. So
yeah.
he's a hot seat coach.
Well, that is a fantastic pick, much better than mine, because mine is really just not really a person that's going to be considered to be on the hot seat. But if you were looking at 1 week, absolutely. And that's Sean McDermott from Buffalo. Lost to the 2-6 Jaguars, or the 1-6 Jaguars at the time. But gave 6-9. Where's your offense? They've lost 2 of their last 3 games. The Bills have, and they've just stopped playing football. I mean, everyone was picking them. I believe you picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
They're my AFC team.
And right now at 5-3, and losing to the Jaguars, and can't even I don't know if they scored a touchdown and didn't get the field goal, or if that was just 2 field goals. So they didn't even score a touchdown in a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so obviously he's not really truly going to be on the hot seat, but for this week, yeah, he's on my hot seat. That way I leave David Culley, the head coach of the Texans, who I've been beating up on each week. Texans again lost, of course, to the Miami Dolphins. The 2-7. I mean, they were basically tied with wins until the Dolphins beat the Texans. So I'll let you off the hook this week, David, and we'll go with Sean McDermott. So anyway, so that's a recap of what we thought of the week, and there was good football played. And before we get into our reviewing last week's picks and look at this week's picks, why don't we go ahead and do your play it through person of the week? And I'm learning how to speak all over again. You ready for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So will you go ahead and let you take over?
Cool.
I think people are laughing at your pick this week.
Oh, they're having fun downstairs. First day visit,
It's my wife.
Oh,
so
all good.
Yeah, our play it through person of the week this week is kind of a legend. And last night I was watching the Champions Classic. So college basketball just started. And so I was watching Kentucky Duke, and I started thinking, well, where's Dickie V? Where's Dick Vitale? Because if you watch college basketball, especially any East Coast games, you expect to see him almost, or any major games, you expect to, see him announcing on the sideline, and he wasn't there. And so I had to look it up, and he's been dealing with lymphoma cancer. So he's had some surgeries due to a melanoma. He's been taking weekly chemotherapy sessions. And so he said it takes about 72 hours for him to recover from these chemo treatments. So he had just had one on the 8th, so he couldn't do this game. He expects to be back broadcasting. His doctors have cleared him. They said that, physically he looks great. I guess he's looking pretty healthy. He's doing pretty well through these treatments. They seem to be working for him, and they want him to be active. They want him to be on the sidelines, his doctors do, and so does Dickie V. So he expects to be back for the November 23rd UCLA Gonzaga game. So that's a huge game that he'll be back for. And then on December 22nd, he plans to be there to announce for the Kentucky-Louisville game. So he won't be back on his original, slated schedule of doing games weekly. They're going to kind of work around his chemotherapy surgeries and treatments here for the future. So we might see Dick Vitale a little bit less this college basketball season, but I'm glad we're still going to see him. I'm glad it sounds like he is, continuing to play it through, and he's going to be doing that while he's, doing his announcement in real time, because he'll be having these chemo sessions in between when he's doing games. So I know he's one of my favorite guys. If it's a West Coast game, I always expect to hear Bill Walton on. If it's any East Coast game, because Dick Vitale lives in Florida, I expect him to do the East Coast games a lot when I'm on. And this was the first Champions Classic that he has missed in Madison Square Garden since the opening night tournament started 10 years ago. So 10-year anniversary last night of that was a great game between Duke and Kentucky. And I just really wished I could have seen and heard Dick Vitale, because, growing up loving college basketball, he's been the voice for me of college basketball. Keith Jackson was my guy that retired a while ago for college football. And so, it's just as a big time college sports fan, it's sad to see when you grow up with these announcers and then they leave you. But I'm glad Dickie V will be back, and that's why he's my play it through person of the week, getting through this lymphoma cancer that he has.
It was a fantastic pick. I hadn't even known that he was going through this and dealing with this currently. And but I think just to show his positivity and his strength to want to continue to broadcast and do everything going through this, and to push through and to play it through, really, shows his love for what he does and the love for the people that he he broadcasts to, and all the love that they give him. So fantastic pick this week, Dave, and look forward to your pick. I look forward to your picks every week, and you always pick out fantastic people who've played it through. And if you don't yet know or follow Dave and his organization Play It Through, just check out the ticker down at the bottom. It's got the Instagram at Play It Through 19, and then Facebook at Play It Through. So I'll leave that up for a minute while we switch over into this week of picks. But let's do a quick recap of last week's. You know what? Let's not. It's I was up 7 games at one point, and you got it down to 3 over a couple of weeks, and I was worried this week because I made some picks with the heart, and so I thought, oh, Dave's going to catch up to me. I thought you'd be like a game behind me, and but it looks like I picked up a couple of games on you. So that Viking game, and you shared with me earlier, but yeah, so I got 5 games on you, and I gotta be honest with you. I haven't gone through. I set up all of the banners, and I haven't really kind of in my head picked. So I guess it's that time. We should get to picking our for week 10 and who we got.
Well, I'm gonna stop for a second. I'm gonna throw a shout out to Kim, because 2 weeks ago when she was on, it was her birthday, and she wanted us to do her picks She did all the picks with us. She wanted to know if we tally them, and because it was her birthday week, I tallied them for her on her birthday week. She went 8-7. She tied you in week 8.
Ooh, good job, Kim. Good job.
Winning record on her birthday week.
And Corey, thanks for joining the show. Yeah, you know what? I can't put a double tag. Actually, Dave could. He could change. Oh, edit name, Dave. Hang on, Corey. Let me help you out. I'll do it right here. And boom, Dave and Jim. So so Jim is I don't know if you ever met the Thackers, Jim. No. So
No.
Jim and Robin are Dave's in-laws. So that's our special guest of the week. Our in-depth sports our in-depth sports analyst who brings everything Washington Huskies knowledge with him.
So Corey is my cousin's husband, and he was a high school baseball coach for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Very big baseball guy.
Hi, Corey.
Yeah.
And my favorite travel buddy.
He lives in Athena, Oregon.
Oh.
So small town guy.
Small town guy.
Big fish in a small pond is what Corey Thacker is.
Okay, so we got some games to pick, and I deleted a banner, so there was an extra game. A couple extra teams that got a bye this week than did last week. So you're not going to have as many opportunities to catch up this week. So kick it off with tomorrow night's game. Ravens are going to Miami, and the Ravens are favored by 7.5. I'll jump in the shallow pond and say I'm taking the Ravens all day long.
Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens too. I was a little worried when I saw the start of the Raven game this week, but then Lamar, brought them back and ended up playing real well the second half. And yeah, I think the Ravens they got too much talent compared to Miami.
Kim's got the Ravens also. And see, this is how you stay with me, Kim. You just pick the same teams I do, right? And all right. Next game is Atlanta. The mighty Atlanta, who just took down the Saints, are going to the Big D, play Dallas, who just got worked over big time by the Broncos last week. So what do you think on this one?
For all the reasons you just said, Matty Ice was your player of the week last week. Maybe he's rolling. I was looking at their past games. They were atrocious at the start of the season. The Falcons have got kind of better and better. And I'm not saying the Falcons are going to win this game, but I think they're playing well enough lately that they're not going to lose by 9. So I'm going to take the Falcons on this one to not lose by 9.
Yeah, I honestly
you just hate the Cowboys. So do I.
I hate the Cowboys, and I want to take the Falcons, but I also kind of want to be. I agree for every reason you pick the Falcons. I agree with you, but on paper, again, this is why they play the games. The Cowboys should win this game by 9. They got worked last week. I can't see them doing it again. They do melt down every single year. Towards the end of the year, they have a meltdown, but it just seemed like they were a little off. So I think the one thing that the Broncos had last week was a really strong running game, and I don't know that the Falcons have that. So I'll take the Cowboys here.
Okay. Maybe Dak knocks the rust off a little bit this week too.
Yeah,
you never know.
So Kim's got the Cowboys, and
we got the Cowboys.
So, see, Kim, we're moving right along.
I'm on an island with the Falcons over here. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Lone wolf in it. The Saints are going to Tennessee. Tennessee is just, I don't know what's going on with Tennessee. I thought they'd fall apart. I'm not a believer in Ryan Tannehill at all. But this is just close enough. They're at home. This is basically an at-home spread, so I'm taking the Titans.
Yeah, I got the Titans too. They're playing well. That was a big game against LA with backup quarterback. The Saints with what that defensive line, like I said, did to Stafford. I don't see a backup quarterback for the Saints right now playing that good against that. So I got to take the Titans at home.
Yeah. How about Jaguars going to Indy? 10.5. A lot of points. I mean, it's a lot of points, and the Colts are not that good.
Well, when Wentz plays good, he's good. But you just never know when he's going to turn the ball over 3 times, and it happens quite frequently. So it's hard to figure out what he's going to do game to game. He's not consistent. He always gets hurt, but then he'll have a real gem of a game. And then they do have that running game. You know, Taylor's a really good running back for the Colts. He does a lot. But the Jaguars, the last few games, have definitely played better than they have. And 10.5 is a lot. That is a lot of points.
It is a lot of points.
For a team that just beat the Bills in a defensive battle where neither team scored 10 points, let alone had a 10.5 spread. I'm gonna take the Jaguars just because that spread is so big, and they've been playing better. And I don't think the Colts are better than the Bills. So I just have to say all these things out loud to justify my pick of picking the Jaguars for anything at all. But yeah, I'm already down games, right? So I might as well take the Jaguars.
Oh, for every reason that you just said, I want to take the Jaguars, but I believe the Colts will do it. But I'm not sold on the Colts and Wentz. They can score some points, and Wentz, I mean, they can move the ball, but the Bills should be able to move the ball as well. I'm also going to take the Jaguars. I think the Colts win the game.
Yeah, I do too.
Just for the record, Kim's on for the Titans and the Colts, and lost my place. There we go. So next game is Cleveland, who was one of my wins over you with the Bengals last week, going to New England, and New England doesn't get that full hometown spread. Browns put up a lot of points. They're now without OBJ. Didn't seem to bug them too much. But again, I'll say it was against, the Bengals, who are playing well, but it's still the Bengals. They'll always be the Bengals. I'm going to this is a tough one. I'm going to take the Patriots.
I'm going to take the Browns just to be different, and they played so well last week against what I thought was a good Bengals team, but now I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I'm going to take the Browns.
Way to go! You'll probably win that one.
I got
your
games
dad's on.
to catch up on.
What's that? Oh yeah,
I got games. I got to catch up somehow.
Can't do it all in 1 week, Dave.
Maybe.
Because you'll be down 10 then.
Go big or go home.
Right? No risk it, no biscuit. So your dad's on the Jags, Kim's on the Browns, and your dad is on the Patriots. Everybody's getting into the game now. So all right, so now we've got why they get 13 points when they couldn't beat the Jaguars. Their Bills are favored in New York by 13. This is a tough pill to swallow. This is a tough game to pick, and I'll jump out and say I'll take the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills too. I think it's one of those things where they're professionals. I think they know they're a good team. I don't know what happened with Jacksonville, but I think this is to play another really bad team the week after you just lost to a bad team. For me, is a good redemption game for a good team to go out and really throttle a bad team after you just got embarrassed. Like it's the perfect comeback situation to be really pissed off and go out and just demolish a bad team. So I'll take the Bills also.
Yeah, I think everyone's on the Bills bandwagon. Kim and your dad are all there. So Detroit going to the Steel City. I said that wrong. Steelers are favored by 9, and in Pittsburgh, I I believe I did pick the Steelers last week over the Chicago, right? And I think you should pick Chicago. Yeah, that was a much closer game that I actually thought it was going to be, but I don't know. Who do you have here?
So I'm going to take the Steelers just because of talent level. But one thing we will find out about the Lions, I think, Dan Campbell, first-year coach, he's coming off his first bye week. Really good coaches play really good games coming off their bye week. He's had 2 weeks to prepare for the Steelers. So I would like to hope that would be a closer game, but after watching the Lions all season, I don't even know if 2 weeks is going to make a difference.
Right.
But it should. So I think we'll know a lot about Dan Campbell and his staff and the Lions after having 2 weeks of preparation and 2 weeks of rest going in against what I would say a kind of middle of the pack in the league Steelers team right now. But I still think the Steelers at home probably win by 9.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Steelers they're really playing close games. I don't know how they're winning, but they're winning. And the Lions are still the Lions. And so, yeah, for that reason, I'm going to take the Steelers. I wanted to look real quick and see how many games the Lions have actually won. Oh, look, they're 0-8. So yeah, I think 9 points is that's a pretty easy one. Gosh, I thought they'd won at least one. So Corey's betting on the Steelers on Sunday at South Point. Oh yeah, going to be in Vegas this weekend. And
where's my check? I just received a check today from William and Hill for one of the bets I made this summer. I had to mail it in, and I just got paid out. Got it today in the mail. So, yep. And enjoy your bets there, Corey. They can be winners, and you can mail them. So just so you know, if you make sports bets, you go back to Oregon. If you win, you can mail them in, and they will send you a check just like this. Got my check within 2-3 weeks of when I sent my ticket in.
That's because they don't have electricity and internet in Oregon. So
maybe not Athena or Weston. Maybe not.
The stagecoach will probably still deliver that letter to Vegas, and all right. So our next game, Bucks are favored.
By the way. Yeah, it did barely.
What's that?
Oh, my check's not for very much. I think I put some silly $5 bet and won like $32 or something like that. It's not a big check.
I saw Jim getting super close. The numbers obviously were really small.
I can't even fill my car up with what I won.
Oh, it's too funny. So Tampa Bay is going to Washington. Bucks are favored by 9.5. I'll pick first on this. I'll take the Bucks. Taking the Bucks.
Same thing coming off a bye. Old man Brady got 2 weeks to rest and learn up on the Redskins, who aren't very good. So I could see this being a pretty good blowout by the Bucks.
Yeah, I hope so. I need a fantasy win this week, and so I got all my starters back this week. Tom Brady and Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown. Their defense. Yeah, I was struggling last week. So Kim and everyone's on the Bucks bandwagon this week over Washington. So Caroline, this could be a letdown game for the Cardinals. I think 10 points is a lot because the Panthers are keeping it close in their games, and they're right there on the cusp every game. And this is a tough one for me. I think I've picked the Cardinals every game this year. Yeah, they're right here in my backyard.
Murray's back. Murray's supposed to be back.
Yeah. See, I mean, Panthers are just under. I mean, they've already played this year, and
they have their backup quarterback playing. The Panthers do.
Oh, I thought the guy came back, or he got hurt again.
Hurt his shoulder. He's out.
Darnold's out.
Darnold's out with a shoulder injury.
And he just came back last week.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll take the Cards. I'll stick with my team. I bet on them all year. So I just think that the Panthers should have won their last meeting. They missed a field goal. And so, the Panthers already had the Cardinals number, and that's what scares me about 10 points, other than the fact that the Cardinals are now at home. And I don't know if we get DeAndre Hopkins back or not with the hamstring issue. So haven't really looked yet. So I'll take the Cardinals. Long story short, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pounded us last week. I think we're almost as good, probably close to the Panthers, the 49ers are. And you had all your backups, and you beat us thoroughly. So I think if you get Murray back, whether you have Hopkins or not, I think you score enough. And yeah, I take the Cardinals. They're just on a roll. Just kind of Cardinals year so far this year. They're rolling, so I'm gonna stick with them.
Yeah. Just kind of back up a little bit. Corey was the only one not on the Bucks bandwagon, and he's going with Washington. But Kim and Jim would all be all over the Cardinals, and Corey's with you, Chuck, and the Panthers. Damn it! But going Cardinals. All right, we're almost there, folks. Vikings and Chargers. Chargers they haven't had quite the offense that they had, even though Justin Herbert threw for 350 some yards this week, and had a 123 passer rating, 83% completion rate. I think I saw. So, I mean, he's still on fire, but there's just something not clicking with the team in itself. But I believe Vikings do have injuries. Is it Dalvin Cook? I think might be out this week.
He's been questionable for he was out a few weeks ago for a couple games, and he's questionable going into basically every other game he's played since.
Yeah. They're at home, I guess. I'll take the Chargers. Why not? I think the Vikings could win this game though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good spread because I think it'll be a close game too. They do have a lot of weapons in Minnesota. If you get a healthy Cook, then you got Thielen, you got Jefferson at receivers. Mm-hmm. Their quarterback's not amazing, but he seems to show up every week, and Cousins gets the job done, and he's just kind of solid. He's not going to doesn't seem like he's going to win you games or lose you games, but he shows up every week. So this is a good spread, but I'll take the Chargers too. I think the Chargers at home. I'll give them that home field spread advantage.
Your dad's taking the Vikings, and so is Kim. Just kidding, Kim. Yeah. We knew who you were going to pick on that game.
Charger fan.
All right, so Eagles, who played well, but not well enough because they lost to the Chargers last week, playing the Broncos, who destroyed the Cowboys. I don't know. Wait, I don't know if everyone heard that. Broncos destroyed the Cowboys last week. Cowboys lost. They lost with their starters. They lost a football game. So hopefully they keep that trend going. But so the Broncos are at home, 2.5-point favorites over the Eagles. I still think the Eagles are dangerous. I'm actually going to take the Eagles here.
You are, and I really hope the Eagles win because this right here is my last betting ticket I have on the year. And I made a bet this summer that the Broncos wouldn't win more than 8.5 games. So they cannot win 4 more games this season. So I have my little sheet I made here that I'll start checking off of all the games they have left. And I'm going to put a loss and a W on them. They cannot win 4 out of 8 games on this list. So I'm hoping the Broncos don't win. But for pick's sake, I'm taking the Broncos at home. I think they beat the Eagles because I just don't think the Eagles are very good. So, and with the Broncos, that might give them confidence beating that Cowboy team. They're at home. I don't know. I hope they don't win, but I gotta pick them just because I think they are better than the Eagles.
That's a tough pick to at only 2.5 points. So, yeah, okay. We'll see how that works out for you. Corey's like, can't hear anything. LOL Broncos. Kim's on the Broncos. You're too funny, Corey. Nope, gotta get rid of that. All right, only 3 games left. Seahawks at the Packers. Still don't think we're getting Aaron Rodgers back.
He may be back.
COVID.
He seems to think he's going to be back, according to himself on the Pat McAfee show this week. He seems to think he'll be cleared Saturday, and then we'll be able to play on Sunday. And Russell Wilson will be back too. They said he could return back.
Yeah, he's been practicing.
His finger's good. He's practicing. Who do you got in this game, Jim? 3.5.
Well, if Rodgers plays, I think it's going to be tough for the Seahawks. But otherwise, I think the Seahawks can do it. They need it. I mean, otherwise their season is toast if they don't win a lot of games from now on.
Yeah, they're stuck in the basement with us.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks can beat the Packers without Aaron Rodgers. But it is in Green Bay. See, I think we should pick this game Saturday when we know who's going to be playing. Because I may be going live Saturday. Hey, I'm changing my pick, but I'm gonna take the Seahawks.
I'm also taking the Seahawks. I just think Russell back. They're going to make some big plays on offense. They're going to make some big passes. I don't think the Packers really have that great of a secondary or cornerbacks. And I think that Seahawks are going to be able to pass the ball on them.
Your dad's taking the Packers. Kim's got the Hawks. So, all right, Chiefs, who beat Green Bay, going up against the Raiders, who lost last week. Who did they lose to again?
The Raiders?
Why is it? It wasn't a good team. Why can't I?
Yeah.
It was.
They lost to the Giants.
Giants. Yeah. 23-16. Yeah. But Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites in Vegas. Corey, going to go to the game? I don't know. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
I've seen a lot of Mahomes is getting buried right now all over national media. They're saying he's broken and they don't know what's going on with him and things like that. 2.5 in Las Vegas, division game. Because it's only a field goal, I still think that the Chiefs they have too many offensive weapons. They still have Hill there. They still have Kelsey. They still, Mahomes could come out of this at any minute and throw for 500 yards and 7 touchdowns because he's capable. And I don't know what the Raiders have. I mean, they had that big tragedy with their receiver,
right?
Drugs and that arrest.
DUI.
Thing that happened was terrible, and I'm sure that was a shock through the team, and that's going to be hard to be able to focus with that kind of stuff. They're going to get questions all week. They're going to get questions all weekend about it. Every single player, coach on the team. I think just because, losing to the Giants, not playing very well, then you have that distraction. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think they're going to get a benefit from all those things the Raiders are going through. To kind of, and it's only 2.5. A field goal gets it. So, yeah, I'll take the Chiefs.
Everyone else is too. Trying to figure out what Corey's saying here. We are think about it. Taking boys have to be vac maybe. Okay. But then he says Raiders.
If you're thinking about the Raider game right now, you won't get in. Let me tell you, those things sell out quick, and tickets are like $400, $500 a piece for the nosebleeds. That place is crazy expensive.
All right, last game of the week. The Rams of LA against The Bay Area 49ers. Can't even say they're the San Francisco 49ers anymore. They're just the Bay Area 49ers. And you know what's really surprising me on this is that the Rams are only favored by 4.
I thought the same exact thing. I was
I'm
like, is Stafford out? Like, what happened? Like, did Aaron Donald go down? I was shocked by that too.
And depending on the health of Von Miller, they may have him active this week. I know he was dealing with an ankle or toe or something injury. But if he's healthy, he could be a go this week. That would just be a nightmare. I think their defense would be a nightmare for just up front for the 49ers. And I think it'll be a bad week for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it'll be Jimmy Garoppolo's last game he plays this season. I've said it, fans. It'll be his last game that he plays this season.
Our right tackle is out also. Our starting right tackle is gone for the season.
So I'm taking the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 49er fan, but I can't pick this with my heart. I mean, we look terrible. The Rams didn't look great last week, but that front 4 that they got with Donald, and even if Von Miller doesn't play, you got Jalen Ramsey, who's basically going to follow Deebo Samuel all over the field the whole game, play him one-on-one, shut him down. So then basically we have Kittle, Ayuk, and whatever run game we can muster, which isn't much probably against the Rams D-line, especially when we have backups at like 2 or 3 spots on our O-line. And, yeah, the Rams seem like a much, much better team right now than the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree. So I was shocked that this was just 4 points, but so there we have it, folks. Week 10 is in the books. We've made our picks. You've made your picks. If you forgot what your picks are, guess what? You just get to come back and watch the show again, replay. So, hey, everything adds a view, and we don't make any money at this. So unless you have 1 million friends, just to get Corey on the books with the Rams. And that's a good pick, Corey. Pretty simple one on that one. Pretty easy to make that one. But hey, we want to thanks for joining. If you have friends who like sports and have nothing better to do from 8 to 9 o'clock every Wednesday evening, please share with them. They can follow us at Sports and Drafts on both Facebook and the Tube of View. So we're live there every week, every Wednesday, and with my wonderful, colorful analysis and Dave's excellent brain of sports knowledge. It's just amazing. And of course, I think we should give our guest the last thought of the show. Hey, Jim,
maybe we should ask him who his Super Bowl pick. What's his Super Bowl pick? We're halfway through the season almost.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you 2 questions, Dave's. Who's your Super Bowl pick halfway through the season, and what game are you looking most forward to watching this weekend?
Okay, so I'm looking forward to the Seahawks Packers game. I think that's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to the Seahawks.
You're from Washington State.
Yeah, so, I'm biased. No doubt. And
I'm a homer.
I was a little steamed when Chuck picked everybody on Tampa Bay's team for his fantasy team, but that was smart.
Not a bad move.
And I actually think Tampa Bay is going to keep picking it up, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl here this year. So that's what I'm saying.
My preseason prediction was Tampa Bay over the Bills. Was my preseason prediction.
I don't think the Bills are done. I think they're going to come back, but I think Tampa Bay's got a lot of horses.
Yeah.
And a good defense. I mean, they're really pretty stout on defense when they're all in.
Yeah, no, good. And I understand why you're upset that I picked all those people, because I beat you on our fantasy, our first matchup this week in fantasy, or this season in fantasy. So, and you beat me, I think, both times last year. I was so upset that
you should be, because I'm terrible at fantasy football.
No, you're not. So, and we got a newbie in our league that's kind of running the table almost at the top of our league with Andrew.
He picked all the Rams. He's got every LA player. He's got all Rams and Raiders on his team. All of them.
He's a homer also.
He is a homer.
But yeah.
Jacksonville.
Yeah. Oh yeah, James Robinson.
I got James Robinson.
James Robinson.
Oh, I was so desperate. I had to pick up Rondell Moore from the Cardinals, who's their kickoff returner, punt returner. They put him in on gadget plays on offense, but I knew because once Edmonds went down, I'm like, oh, he's going to get more playing time. It didn't really help me, but he was like by the time I realized that actually Dylan helped me out. He told me that somebody was hurt or out on my starting roster. So I went and I was literally going down the active player list, like 30, because everyone had already played in the morning game. And so I was just trying to find an available player to throw on my roster because I had an open spot due to somebody being out. But yeah, last week was ugly. So looking forward to getting back this week. So Kim, thank you. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week. And with that, fans, thank you, Jim, for being a part of our show tonight as our first live on-camera guest. So come back anytime you want.
I'm not going to lie. We were hoping for local Evan Mobley, the number 3 pick in the draft, but from Temecula. But he won't call me back still.
He's so tall.
I couldn't get him on before he moved to Cleveland, so he wouldn't get on here.
We'll send you a link every week, and you're welcome to join us. So, hey, with that, everyone, have a fantastic week. Corey, have a blast in Vegas. Hope you guys have a great time this weekend. And
Sam's Town.
Getting with you guys.
They're going to Sam's Town.
So, thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic week. And on behalf of Dave, we are out. And on behalf of Jim, we are out.